in Massey Ferguson tractors of types 35, 65 and of the series 100, and in tractors by Landini, New Holland, IMT and IMR. Here we have an A4203 engine that is leaking oil from the rear crankshaft oil seal, which has a rope braid. The most common cause of the oil leak in this place is the rope braid itself, which becomes hard and deformed as the engine is used. Common problem with this type of engine seal. If the oil leaks here, then the flywheel, housing and clutch disc are filled, resulting in weak tractor power. We will change the old oil seal that had the carrier with the new one, a modified improved rope seal. I'd like to show you the new way of sealing in practice, while explaining important details, since many mechanics have had no opportunity to see the installation procedure. On the aluminium part, we have spacers, which are specifically designed so that when we put the seal on the engine, we do not tighten too much. First, we need to soak the rubber in hot water, so that the rubber is more elastic. The water is approximately 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. Next, when the cover is off, we will clean this part, the dirt on the crankshaft. We use sandpaper if there is corrosion, and we polish the crankshaft too. Then we take a clean cloth and wipe it. So now we have a clean crankshaft. Next, we put the grease on the bearing where the rubber seal sits, so that with the first turns of the engine, the rubber is not damaged. Next, we assemble the spring by engaging the thread and turning it. Carefully, we pull it over. It will not be deformed, we can easily pull it over. We pull it towards us. When we have put on the spring, it's time for the rubber part. However, since this part of the crankshaft may be damaged, and we can damage the rubber part while putting it on, or even break it, I will pad the crankshaft with tape. This is the part over which the rubber is to be pulled. This is now protected. We are now sure there will be no damage. We can also put some oil on it, so the rubber will slide over more easily. We take the rubber part, which is heated to 90 degrees Celsius, especially in the winter, so it is more elastic. We can wipe off the water. We put on topaz grease. The installation is a bit difficult, but it will fit. There it goes. Very simple. We installed it. Now we will put the first spring into the channel in the seal. We need a tool for this, a hook. Something like this, made of copper. Now we will put the first spring into the channel in the seal. This is the hardest part, the most demanding. But with this little hook, you see, we have assembled it. The spring is installed, the front part is done. Next, the second spring, which we can also pre-assemble. We can do it like this too, but it's a bit more difficult. The second one is installed more easily. We can put it directly into the channel, which we just did. You see, we adjust a bit more here. Everything is installed. The rubber is already squeezing the crankshaft, so we already have friction. Next, we take off the tape that helped us not to damage the rubber seal. Let me repeat, these spacers are thinner than the rubber. When we tighten it, they will lie against the block and would also complete the seal. This is the most critical part where the oil can leak through the thread of the short screw. That's why we put on a copper washer. First, we install the lower half. We put 2 rollers to keep everything centered. That's about it. So far so good. The upper half. We can move the rubber so it's not in the way, like this. Finally, we can fit these, they're easy. Then we can more easily tighten this one. We keep it all even. Everything is centered. We shake it a bit. Now we can freely tighten this more. This one too. We can't use the power screwdriver here. Now we have to ensure optimum tightening of the seal without fear of deforming the rubber seal, which is taken care of by the spacers on the aluminium part. We continue this process until we tighten all 6 screws on the engine seal. Check if the screws are tightened well. Finished. No, a few more turns. Now we have to install the vertical screws. This is simple now, nothing complicated. Finished. We've just installed the modified rope seal with the rubber.